Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. We had a bit of a technical hitch, so we're gonna actually start again from the top. As you know, Dimpa's Lounge is fairly new program, so we're trying at all other means to make it possible for all of you to kind of join in with us on this program. Please do put comments there. Please do share it. If there's anything we could do better, please let us know. So that we can obviously, bring this program live, because it is a very interesting topic, and it's also really important that, like we said earlier when we first came on, that we talk about men and mental health and men and emotional well-being, so that we can be in a better place. So we're going to start from the top again. Again, my name is Lizzie Kwarting Amanin. I've introduced myself.
I'm Odino Dimpa.
I'm Isaac Asaremenu.
I'm Comfort Darko.
And today's topic is based on men and emotional well-being. We've got two people here. Sorry, that's my auntie Comfort on my right here, and Isaac. And we're going to talk about emotional well-being for men and women to a certain extent. And we're going to tell it as it is. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. I mean, I've been through hell and back. So if I have to share it, I will. With a question, and I'm actually going to go straight to Ike, and I'm going to ask this question: why do you think that culturally men don't share how they feel, i.e., our background, where we come from?
Well, our background, where we come from, which is mainly African background, it's hard for men to really talk, because men are meant to be weepers, not cries, because they say men don't cry, men hold on to things. This is why sometimes when relationships tend to break up, the men probably suffer it more, because women are more open to talk about things than men are. Even like myself, I find it difficult to come onto this program. When I met my sister, I said, come on, you need to experience it. Your experience will help people and will change people. I said, why not? Come and just share it. The reason why we men do that is like, we're not open to talk because we feel like if you talk our business to people and we hear it outside, it will belittle us. It will make us feel less of a man. So that's why we don't talk about it. We bottle it. And at times, from my experience, if you bottle so many things in you, no matter what you do, there won't be progress. They can take you to Selfridges, to the most expensive Italian shop, to put clothes on you. Because you're holding things and you're not clean, you're not clear, it won't look good on you. And that's my little bit about men holding on to things.
Wonderful. Dimpa, I'm going to actually come to you, because you've had your fair share of emotional well-being, and it wasn't easy at all, which is why I take my hat off and salute you for the program that, being the founder of this program is just so awesome. I wondered if you want to maybe tell us a little bit about what you went through with your breakup.
There's a lot. There's a lot. It's not just for what I went through. It's what made of me, and for now, especially when I've been on that side, I've been on that wall, I've been on the edge, and to see, I mean, I'm out of it now, I'm okay now, but sometimes you still think it's okay, but not everything is going to be okay with you. As a man, we don't just talk. You have to I go to my mom and talk to my mom all the time, and she gives me advice, but always there's something out there, you don't say it fully. And I mean, as you as a sister, Isaac, I go to Isaac as well. I mean, I have been through a lot. And as Isaac is saying, it's not just only about the breaking down of the marriage. It's sometimes even when you are in the marriage, right? How do you find yourself? How do you see yourself being happy? The only one that knows is just you, because nobody else knows. Well, you've been in the marriages or in the homes that, because you got your teeth always out, everyone thinks you're smiling. But within yourself, what exactly do we feel as a man? Right? How many men like myself or Isaac or out there goes home and going home crying, even though they're going to their families, especially to welcome their children, their wives, but within their hearts, right, they are hurting within themselves. Most men, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Most just because they don't want to go home. So by the time they get home, they are drunk already.
Yeah.
Some people will just pass by a friend, spend some time with them. And also as a man, I mean, we all know, and as I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Sometimes when we find comfort with some young girl or a woman who is going to treat us well, we stay there instead of going to our homes where we're supposed to be happier. As they said, if your home, you cannot be happy in your home, man, there's a problem. So I have been through a lot. And if we say we're going to talk about it today, the 1 hour we have is not going to be enough.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, it's quite difficult, isn't it, Auntie? So over to you now. So from a woman's perspective, what are some of the things that you possibly went through when your marriage fell, or what advice do you have for anyone who's actually going through emotional well-being at the moment that we refuse to share or talk about because of stigma and what people will say, or because of fear, really, of the unknown?
In my area, it was more public. If I say public, it's because we were in the ministry. My husband was a pastor, so it was obvious to the members. So it's like you can't hide, because a few people knew what was going on, and then even if one person knows, it will go far.
Yes.
Left alone a few people. So that's how it happened. But fortunately for me, my husband was somebody who was a man of integrity. So he kept things in. Some men will go out and say a lot, that which is true and that which is not true. But he was a man of integrity. So he kept it in. So it was not too much of a hoo-ha or pulling this and pulling that. So he called me and the children, we sat down and we planned or agreed on what we should do. And we decided how the children are, who the children are going to stay with and things like that. So I could say that from my side, it was more controlled. And I am somebody also who don't like saying things about my partner where I know it's not true. I said some things which I believe it was true. So with that kind of this thing, at the beginning, we were not friends. We were all hurt. So I was nursing my hurt and he was nursing his. So as Daniel said the other day, when they go to dad will say, mommy this, mommy that. When they come to me, I will say, daddy this, daddy that. Until it got to a time when my older daughter was getting married. And we realized that we have to come together for the sake of the children. And since then, we are friends.
Right, yeah. It must have been even worse for you, because married to a pastor, everyone would look up to you, thinking that's so emotional.
Like a role model.
That's it. So that's why I'm saying that mine was public.
Yeah.
Because of where we are coming from. We were counseling people, we were advising people, and then when it came to our one, who are you going to?
Who's going to counsel you?
Exactly. Yeah. So if there's any pastors watching and you're going through some emotional torture at the moment, share it. It's really important you do.
Yes.
Or come on our program. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. So when it happens like that, it's like it's left to you and your God, as they say. Me and my God. So you talk to God, and sometimes God can't talk to you directly, like going to a friend or talking to. But being a pastor's wife and a pastor, sometimes it's like you have to get your own kind of people, like the pastor is something or pastor, before you can sort of say things. You see, so it's when it comes, it was difficult. It was difficult.
So, Lizzie, what are you going to say about this as well?
Right, okay. Well, I'm going to share a little bit of my experience, because I've had 2 failed marriages. And one will probably sit back and say, well, what's she got to say about this? But the first marriage I was going through a lot of domestic violence. So for me to leave that was easy for me. I just pick up my bag and my kids and left. Now my second marriage now, he was more into the church. So it was a bit of a manipulation from the side of be submissive to your husband. So I became the submissive person, and I think that situation got abused. I wasn't expected I didn't want him to leave. I was fighting for my marriage left, right, and centre. But marriage is a two-way traffic.
Mm.
If one says no, no matter what you do, there's nothing you can do about that. It was a nightmare. It was emotional torture, and it was disgrace, because I think a lot of people that are watching probably know my story. I went through hell and back with my ex-husband, and to have come so far, and for us to have split up was public, and it was really mind-blowing, to the extent that I couldn't even coordinate, like, how to wear my clothes, how to do my hair, and everything just went pear-shaped. The only thing that saved me, and I'm going to say this live on the air, was the fact that I had Christ in my life. I had to turn to Jesus and said, Lord, help me. You know, when you go to the altar and then you just leave it all there because your back is against the wall. I remember going to see my doctor at one point, and I said, look, I think I'm going through depression. And my doctor said, how do you know that? And I said, because I know, because all sorts of thoughts were going through my mind at the time.
Mm.
And then I had to turn to my Bible. One may say, look, it doesn't work for them, but for me, that was my refuge. And I think when I went to the altar and said, Father, I'm back, I just have nothing else. I've got nobody but you to rely on. That's when I kind of started building my life again. I mean, my ex-husband and I were so much friends. We talked to each other for the sake of our daughter. But I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for the child, we'd probably see each other and walk past each other, because it was a messy divorce. And it was public. To some extent, I know why people don't talk about these things, but in a way, I'm glad I did. And I had good friends. One of my very good friends, Afia Sharon, who was there for me at the time.
So with Ma, let me ask you one question now. I mean, when you said that because when you sat down and you talk about it and everything, before you sit down, sit down with the family and talk about all these issues, did you know what was going through, Dad said?
Yeah.
Did he ever tell you, or you choose not to listen?
As I'm saying, our one is, I think when it comes to this church thing, it's difficult, because we were having some church problems, like the church was not functioning the way it should function. So one day we went to church, and he called me, and I stood up, and he said, I'm not supporting him in what he is doing as a man of God. So I should go and pray about things, and if I feel I can, then I come back. But if I feel that I can't support him the way he wants me to support him, then he's seeking a divorce from me in the church. So that's why I'm saying that. So I had to stop going to church. It was like Yabomia saying that excommunicated for a period for me to sort myself out, to come back. And so I went and I prayed, and I did what I look in myself, and I would think I was doing what I'm supposed to do, because this one man, let me use that, like one man church. Me and the children, we arrange chairs, we do this. I'm singing, I'm going to choir practice, I'm doing children's service, and to me, I thought I was supporting the way I knew how. But to him, maybe he was expecting something else, but he couldn't know how to say it, and then it's like the blame was on me.
Did you ask that question?
Like what?
Because you said you did everything as in your power that you know of. Did you ask what kind of support he needed from you?
Aside of what you
to tell you the truth, I think I was in shock when I heard that. So he told me to pray, go and pray.
Sorry. As Mom is saying, when you're doing everything within your power to help somebody, and they come back with that, you don't feel there's a need to ask them any question, because you're putting out what you can't put out.
Absolutely.
What's the point of asking the person a question?
Yeah.
There's no point. But in adding on to what Lizzie was saying, concerning you going through your doctor. I was going through sleepless night upon sleepless night. I was like, Candy Crush was my best friend.
Oh.
I remarried to Candy Crush because I was playing it once I'm in my bed. 30 minutes time, I'll fall asleep, I'll come back again, keep on playing. So I went to my doctor and said, Doctor, I can't sleep. And thank God I've got medical background, as you know.
Yeah.
They prescribed me amitriptyline. Sat there, read every single thing about it. I said, damn, why are these people taking me?
Yeah.
I kept it for about 4 or 5 years, never took a single tablet of it.
Wow.
So I'm gonna fight through this. In the end, I failed to go to America to stay with my sister. I went to America for a month or 2. I said, God, why? The devil you know is better than the angel you've never met. Let me go back to London. Whatever happens, happens. I come and I thank God I found a church that I started going to, as Lizzie said. And you know, at times we take God for granted. You shouldn't.
Yeah, it's very
Because
true.
in everything, once you seek Him, there's nothing that is you can't do. And I thank God I seeked Him at that time. Because I used to come and I said, God, what is it that I've done to deserve this?
And no one can help you.
And nobody can help.
Nobody can help you. Yeah.
I prayed at times. I'm sorry to say this, at times I was naked myself and I put my hands on the wall. I said, God, if there's anything that I've done to anybody, just forgive me.
So can I ask a quick question before we go back to our main topic? Do you think the churches today, especially, I mean, you said return to God from church and yourself. Do you think the church today, right, is helping the families? Because you know what, it's not, I mean, when I mean the church, not just the church building, I mean the leaders of the church. Because some of the churches, well, if you go in there, especially, I mean, for a few that, I mean, I've come across to, is Lizzie, let me just take Lizzie as a wife. So if Lizzie is so close to them, they try to take sides. The pastor is a man, but tend to forget about my feelings as well and what's going through. So it's like, oh, it's just pray. It's going to be when they actually know the situation, what is going on, or even if they don't know. Instead of them canceling the two of you, it's always on one side. And the man, as in the main program was especially today's immense emotions. Nobody, only few people take a man's side.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's like, before I come to them or go to them, I've already been judged already. You're a bad person. So my back is also against the wall. That's what the question is, helping.
No.
To a certain degree, I'll say yes. But you as a person, don't be looking for the church, because we're all humans here. Look for yourself. Once you find yourself, there's nothing else you can do in this life. Once you find yourself, and there's an old saying in our language that who therefore will go and buy a ring and wanting to marry their enemy. Nobody does that. You must love that person initially before you proceed to marry them. So if you're not marrying your enemy, why is it that something then will come into your marriage and then destroy it? Why? That's a question that I need an answer for, but only God Almighty can answer to.
I think in terms of my experience, I actually did tend to, I said I went to Christ and I was at the altar. But I'll be honest with you, at the time, the church I used to go to, I was the one that was at fault because I took my ring off. I didn't want to wear my ring anymore. And I remember the pastor saying to me at some point, well, since your ring is off, it's a disgrace to the church because I was part of the ministry. I was really involved. So the pressure was on me. So my ex-husband was free to walk around and do whatever he had to do. But I was the victim here, you know.
By a symbol.
By a symbol. And I thought, hang on a minute. Are we both not to be blamed for this? Why is it my fault as a woman? Because I couldn't take it anymore. Because it wasn't a physical abuse, it was mental abuse, emotional abuse. He wouldn't hit you.
You know why?
But the things he would say
they'll
to
blame you. Because that's what people see. Like my brother said, they're not in the house to see what's happening in the house.
Yeah.
They only see you by the symbol.
That's right.
So if they had seen what was happening in the house, then maybe they would have supported. But because they've seen the ring that you've taken off, why have you taken it off?
Yeah.
They don't seek. Rather, they should have called you or called the pair of you, sat you down. Why is it that Lizzie is taking the ring off? What are you doing wrong? What is she doing wrong? But they don't do that. They just conclude by the fact that the symbol is off, which is totally wrong.
Absolutely.
So come back to the next question. Do you really think we understand marriages?
I'll go on and I'll go on. You're the leader of the
I've gone to her so many times.
Okay, then
so that's why I asked the question.
Okay,
do you think we really understand
to me,
marriages?
My personal experience, we don't understand. At times, you're a young man, you see all your friends getting married, you go to the reception, you go to the wedding, you think, wow, I wonder if I like to do that.
Yeah.
But you don't really sit down and think, what are the implications, what are the difficulties that will come within the marriage that I can actually deal with? You don't think that. You think the rosy side of things, which is going to see somebody, oh, lovely, I want to do that. You need to really, really sit down. And my second point is, don't get married because you see other people doing it. Don't get married because you feel, oh,
Age.
well, age.
Age is catching up on
Age,
you. Yeah.
age is, you're as old as you feel.
Mm.
If I sit here and I tell you people my age, you think, oh, you sound like a little boy.
Mm.
But I am not. I don't base on age. I probably have my kids late. At times I sit back thinking, damn, I wish if I had my kids now. Some will be university, some will be and finishing college. But if you wait at the appointed time, at times it's difficult because you see all your friends are running away from you. Where you are, single man, as a single woman, especially I think the pressures are all more women than men. They feel like, oh, your biological clock is ticking, as everybody will say. But you never know. What happened to Sarah?
Exactly, and we don't understand. I think cultural as well from our parents.
Pressure.
'Cause the pressure, you know, when you get to a certain age, it's like, oh, you're 30 now. Isn't the time you've got married and had kids? And I think a lot of people feel like they have to and probably choose the wrong person to get married to.
Especially moms. All my grandchildren.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm number one.
Because
Right, there's an example, mommy here.
I mean, I've always said if I had to live my life again, I'll do things completely different. Honestly, getting to know someone, being friends with someone, knowing the things you like, things you don't like about them,
And what you can bear and what you cannot bear with them.
Exactly, because the rushing into marriage can bring so much complication. And I'm telling you this right now, about maybe 9 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here. At one point, I thought, oh my God, am I going to be on some kind of tranquilizers? I can't cope with the pressure.
Your confidence, everything.
Everything shattered in one day. You know, he was going through his battle, I was going through my battle, to a point where we both wanted to come to one place and speak together. We couldn't even do that. We hated each other. But for the sake of our daughter, we tried to be friends. Even that is a problem.
It's always difficult when kids are involved.
Yeah.
When kids are not there, I'll pick my bags. I never want to see you. Even if I saw you, I'll just walk by you.
Yeah.
When kids are involved, you try your best for the sake of the kids. And one thing that I'll say on there, from my personal point of view, especially Africans, we always say for the sake, I told my sister this when we met, talking, for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the kids. It's a wrong statement.
Absolutely.
The reason why I feel it's a wrong statement, if I'm not happy, you're not happy, how can we bring up a child for the child to be happy? But if you can separate, where I live by myself, the kids will come there happy, and you're happy. That's the best way to do it. And also, one thing I also say that if there's a marriage breakup, please, parent, fathers and mothers, don't be telling the kids, your mother is this, your father is that, because you know what? You think you're doing the right thing for yourself. A time will come, the kids, they're kids now, but they'll grow up to realize that what you are telling them is wrong. And they're going to end up hating you for the rest of their lives.
That's very, very
Please,
true.
let us be careful what we tell our kids when the separation comes.
So Mama, come back to you again. Today you're on the hot seat today, so we are mother, we have to ask you. And the same question goes to Lizzie as well. What do you really know us as men? Do you really know us?
That's a big question, because I'll go in the first question, like, do you understand marriage? We don't, because we look at our parents and we want to do what our parents did, and every generation has got their way of
Living.
Yes, that's it. In our older generations, they were okay with whatever is going on. They accept whatever. If the husband is rude, if the husband is this, they don't care. It's that, and especially back home, even if you go and tell somebody that your husband, you can't even go and tell somebody that my husband is being rude or abusive. Some men take undue advantage of our culture and misbehave. And our mothers and our grandmothers, they just took it like that's how
marriage
is supposed to be. So now that we are in this kind of generation whereby we especially in the home, the woman is tired, the man is tired, children are tired. So there's pressure in the home.
Yeah.
So if you don't sit down to look at situations properly and try to cut off those that can be cut off and make it conducive for all the family, divorce is inevitable.
The reason why it's so, Mommy, sorry, that if my child is coming home with pressure, I'm coming home with pressure, my wife is coming home with pressure, what then builds is the heat in the house.
Yeah.
And everybody's trying to run away from the heat.
Yes.
I'm trying to run away as a husband. My wife is trying to run away. The kids is therefore sandwiched between the two pressures,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Yes,
really sad.
and
It's
that's
really
what
emotional.
is going on now.
It's sad at times. As a father, as a mother, you see your child going through separation. I've been through it. As a growing up in Ghana, I've been through it. And at times you're trying to run away where you're comforted.
get
You go there, they
emotional here.
send you right back to where you came from. But what can
Yeah.
you do? This is why we're here also sharing that experience. Is that
Absolutely.
so that our kids, our sons and daughters will not fall into the same thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Mama, the second
Yeah,
question.
yeah. The second one is like, you see, even when we have friends, we study each other, but we take marriage for granted. The moment you get, that's why you have to court. But in the courtship, we allow the love thing and to overshadow what we actually need to know about each other. Because in the courtship, that's when you have to know the likes and the dislikes of each other. But the moment the ring is on the fingers, we throw away all those. Not that we don't know, we do know. Because sometimes you know that my husband doesn't like this, but because of familiarity,
Let me do it.
we overlook it and do what we think we want to do. And when it's like that, and if the man unfortunately is a quiet one, he doesn't say nothing, he boils it up, and it's vice versa. A man knows that my wife doesn't want me to take the phone to the toilet when the phone rings, but that is exactly what he would do. So what do you think the woman is going to think? She's going to think my husband is hiding something from me.
Yeah.
You see, so these are, sometimes it's just little things that we put a blind eye to, and that builds up and it brings a very serious
On the question that
situation.
you asked about
Can-
concerning. Yeah, go on, Lizzie. We're trying to cut you aside.
Yeah.
So
Right. Sorry. Well, am I supposed to be saying something?
The question with, I mean,
Do you
Do you
understand?
understand?
Do you know the
Or can I
marriage
just-
that you
or
married?
the
Do I understand?
Oh, no, do you know?
Do I know
who you're
you?
married? Yeah.
Right. Do you know what? I'm going to be so real and I'm going to be really honest. I met my husband 3 months later, we were married. Yeah? Now, Auntie was so spot on. It was about this love at first sight. You love this person, you've met this person, you're so in love that nothing else matters anymore. I didn't get to know him. If only I got to know my husband a little bit longer, I would not have walked down the aisle with him. Because there's a lot of things that I find out later that I thought, gosh, I made such a big mistake. And do you know what? If he's watching this, he'll probably say the same. We didn't get to know each other. We just fell in there. Do you know what? To the extent I didn't even consult my kids. Before my children knew, I had a husband in a home. You meet someone in 3 months, you think you know them really well. You put a ring on the finger and all of a sudden, happy home. The troubles I went through, they say, like my kids not getting on with him not getting on with my kids, me not really knowing this man. And sometimes I look back and I think, I will never make this mistake ever again. Because I didn't get to know him.
Okay.
So no, the answer to your question
No,
is,
you're talking about from the basis. I'm talking about even in the house,
In the
even
house.
at home.
Yes.
After you got married to him, now you got a ring. Anyway. So there's so many things you have to, both of you have to compromise.
That's it.
But did you really know the person in the house?
No.
Because if you are in the house with someone, and it's not just about, I mean, the 3 months that you spend with him before you got married to. Sometimes you could be with someone for 5 years, 10 years, and
You still don't know.
that's true.
But what the question is for, I mean, do you really take notice of the man that you are in the house with? Because sometimes
Changes.
changes. Because sometimes we, especially with the man, I can't talk much about Isaac, but I can talk about myself and a few people that I know. I mean, for what I've been through and what I've learned now, right? I can spot somebody who's got issue, but he doesn't want to say it. And especially when you ask them, especially with the men, they were like, "Oh, I'm okay." I'm like, "No, you're not okay. Stop saying it. You're not. Say it." You understand? So in the house, did you see the person that you married? Because sometimes you come back from work, right? All it takes is somebody asking me, "How was work? How was work?"
Difficult.
Yeah. And by the time you come back from home, right, she's on the phone talking on the and then when they put on the phone, "Oh, your food is ready," and it's like every time it's like the same thing going. Did you really take notice of him, or you just ignore, just didn't want to know?
To be honest, can I be honest? I just didn't want to know. To be honest, I didn't know him.
So you form,
I didn't take notice.
should I say you form part of why men we struggle sometimes?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To the degree that you asked a question about, do we really get to know people? As we say here, do we know ourselves? You have to know yourself first before you can get to know somebody. And also, what you know of that person today is going to grow. It's going to manifest. So if you know and you feel you can't deal with it, squash it. If you can deal with it, then deal with it. Because whatever you know today, it's only going to grow. It's only going to get worse. If it's good, it's going to get better. If it's bad, it's going to get worse.
And also, I think self-love as well. You know, loving yourself and knowing who you are.
Rather than you loving the person and forgetting about yourself.
Absolutely.
It's very
important.
Very important thing.
So when do men have our privacy?
I don't know.
In terms of
Everything in the house, in the family.
To me, there shouldn't be any. The reason why there shouldn't be any, you marry them, so everything must be transparent.
Absolutely.
If you're on the phone, if I have friends that are female, my wife needs to know who the friends are. Vice versa.
Right.
If that happens, then there's not going to be a problem. But when I'm trying to hide my phone, trying to hide my text messages, what am I putting into the person's head? That I've got something to hide. There, it rings, she can answer. Her phone is there, rings, I can answer. Then there's no problem. But we find it difficult because of what we've been through, because we've been hiding things from the past.
But do you not notice as well as we have my sister and our mother here, and sometimes even when you give it to them, in their face, they're still looking at the back
to see who else.
Did you find out with the women as well? Why? What makes you do that?
It's all boiled down to trust.
So is it a trust you don't have for us or you don't have for yourself?
That it could be something has happened that has broken down the trust. So if something like that has happened, then it's for both of you to build that trust. And when a trust is broken, it's not easy to build. So what I would say is we do our best not to do anything that will break the trust in the family. It's like just like your child. I just want to use this scenario. Like you're going out and you tell your child, "I'll buy you sweetie." And then you come home and there's no sweetie with you. Next time you are going and you say, "I'll buy you an orange." Last time you said you buy me sweet, you didn't buy me sweet.
What makes you think you're not
so it's like the trust is gone. She knows you won't do it. So when we are in relationships, we tend to do things that break the trust, but we are not conscious of it. You see, we have to be conscious of the relationship that we are in. That's why I said earlier that over familiarity breeds contempt. Sometimes that's what happens, especially in our African or black people's marriage. The white people's marriage is, if they will divorce, it's not something, it could be something else, like maybe affair or something like that. But our one, this is another thing that is also destroying marriages, is this aspect of building houses back home.
Yeah, space topic.
Financial. So when you are not together and the trust is not there, then everybody, you are married, but everybody is standing on their own distance.
I'm going
looking,
right, you're going left.
that's it. So when it's like that, it brings confusion to the children.
Let me just step in 1 minute, please, Auntie. I just wanted to bring us back to the emotional well-being of men. And I think it'd be really important just to hear a little bit of Isaac, the things you went through. You don't have to mention no names.
Yeah.
Some of the mental torture that you went through that you thought, right, is it worth just perhaps ending it all? Because I've thought of things like that in the past.
Right.
Yeah, I'll bring it back to
as
where
I
we-
see here, where do I start? Where do I finish? Mine happened at the time that I needed my partner the most, and which was when my father had passed away. Everything was left with me. I had friends helping me that I expect my wife to. I had family members thinking, where is this wife that you said you're married to? Where is she to help you?
How long was your marriage for, first of all?
I had my first child before I got married.
Okay.
My marriage was about 4 years or so.
Okay.
So it was very short. And I'm a man that Lizzie will probably tell you. Because what I went through, like a house has come and see your house, I felt wonderful. That's exactly how I am. I did everything that I can to make a house homey, which is furniture is the law. One thing I'll say to people watching us on air, if you get married, and first of all, you let your mother come into it all the time. Mothers and fathers, we break up marriages.
So, Mom,
Some of them.
so from today, I'm not coming to you again.
Some of them.
The reason why we break up marriages is the fact that you know the man that you're married to, you know the flaws, and you know where they stand strong. So from when you know, don't involve your mother. Don't go to your mother every problem you're going to your mother. Because if you go as a mother who carried you for 9 months, any little thing you go back to your mother and say,
She'll be on your side. Yeah,
they will be
pounce up.
piling it up.
Yeah.
So the time will come where the cup is full, and then they will explode.
Do you reckon that's what broke up the marriage?
Yes.
Wow.
And that was tough for me, to the degree that when I was going to Ghana, I had left a family home and stayed with a friend for 2 good weeks, where I was staying in the winter time in November. Window had broken. I was staying in the cold and whatnot. But like I said, when I went to Ghana, I came back, I still didn't feel right. And the emotional torture that you go through, the fact that you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't dress up how you used to dress up, because everything that you invested is gone.
And it's also like a twinkle of an eye.
Yeah.
It's just vanished.
Imagine you having a business and you put all your effort, all your money into it, and it collapses all of a sudden. How do you react?
Because I know Isaac. You used to work as a pharmacist, didn't you?
Yeah, and I
know.
left pharmacy because of that. Because my concentration wasn't there, interest wasn't there.
Go and give somebody.
I just wanted
something
to be
else.
around people all the time. Imagine you being in a pharmacy where all you're doing with people's sickness, medication, you need a full concentration. And at that time, even now, up until now, because of the emotional torture, if you give me a pharmacy job now where you're going to pay me £50 an hour, I will not do it. Because it's still there, it rings a bell in my head. So we really need to be careful how we hurt the next partner. Because if you do, the world is so small that you're going to come back to me for help one day, especially when kids are involved.
Yeah.
You
But
can't shy away from it.
Do you know what's really amazing? Once we move on from that hurt and pain, God opens such an amazing door, because you've met an amazing person now, haven't you?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
This is it. And you will speak so highly of her.
I speak so highly of her.
God
And
bless you.
it's the first time I actually get people are getting to know that I have a partner. You know, at times I ask her, where were you when I needed somebody of such caliber? And vice versa, she asked me the same thing. And
Well, she also
like
has
Lizzie
that
said, at times, even I'll give you a small example. Even the watches and golds that we wear, we don't know the pressure cooker that it go through for us to see it on the shop floor and think, wow, beautiful. This is how God works. At times we need to go through it to glorify God. And I thank God I went through it now. I feel, even now, God forbid, if my marriage now, if I get married again, it breaks up, I'll stand firm.
Amen.
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
Absolutely.
And when like you were saying earlier, when I see people that are going through that, it hurts me. 2 weeks ago, Saturday, a friend of mine that through the pharmacy business, we got to know each other. He's been married for over 17 years. In the process of the wife coming over from West Indies, this man went to jail for the wife.
Wow.
Not knowing that when the daughter was about 2 years old, there was a certain man that was around. He sorted it out. He thought he had sorted it out. 17 years after, same man manifests again. and through that man, the marriage is gone.
Wow.
So let me come back. Pretty sure. You know, when I asked the question regarding when do men have our privacy, right? It wasn't just the privacy for men. That was. I want to clarify this to everyone that's listening to this, especially some of the marriages that we say, oh, we have, somebody, and most of them, right, comes to there should be a perfect home. That's what everybody requires. You and I and nobody else requires a peaceful home, and then there's somebody out there always trying to destroy your peace in the house. So I've counseled someone that the wife, they have a peaceful home. The guy is a very cool guy. I know him by what I can see or what I know of him. But his wife has got a friend, and the friend is always telling the wife something, and the wife is not sitting down to look at what's happening, but always trying to use what the friend is saying against the husband.
That's a tool.
Right. So now it's gone to the point that after going to the churches, that's why I asked about the churches, after going to friends and everyone now, the guy is fed up. He can't take it because he's saying that there's nothing else I can do for this woman to trust me. Because whatever I say, and this is one of the things that we see in our communities, in our friends. And rather unfortunately, we have to go to turn ourselves or go to church and pray and all that. And even sometimes, even the churches where as women go to what they call women's fellowship or the pastor's wife, because they are very close to them and stuff, and they are the ones that transfer the messages out there for people to hear, and the other person knows about what they know is they give you 10% and they add another 90% to it, making it sound like they know everything. So most marriages are also breaking down, not just because they are not happy, it's because of the influence out there. As you said, the mothers come in and the people come in as well. Where and how are we going to listen to ourselves? What education are you going to give to your children now about not to listen to anybody else? Because personally, I've got children, and I don't tell them to come and tell me your
problems,
relationship, because I'm not there. I don't even know how you spoke to your husband or your wife. I don't know how you reacted. I don't know how he came home. I don't know where he was planning to change things, and you
don't know the foundation of that.
You just saw you've got your dad or you've got your mom, so you have to go to them. Complain. So I think it's about time, especially, and everyone that's listening to this program, we should know that just turning to somebody else to talk to, especially our friends, are the ones damaging us.
Very true.
Especially damaging us, not just because they're damaging the marriage, they see you happy, they see your husband happy, and they see your children. Most of them even see your children, they know how your children are going to come off it, and they always try to destroy your children. But sometimes they do through families. They do through uncles, they do through pastors, they do through aunties, they do through school parks. Some people even do it from when they're in the same school. And we have to start learning about where do we break that cycle, because we are breaking ourselves, not just because of what the two of us or the three of us are doing there, i.e. our mothers. A lot of us
friends are jealous because the fact that they see, like you said, they see you happy.
They
want you to come on the same level.
Yes.
Especially if they do before you used to party along with them,
it.
and now you're not partying because you're married. They want to drag you back. So there's pulling down syndrome within our friends, our families. So like I said, you married a guy, you married the woman, you know him better than anybody else does. So therefore you shouldn't be listening to outsiders.
Absolutely.
Stick. And once you stick, good things will come out of it.
And that's the problem that we are facing, because we don't steady ourselves.
Coming back to the next one, Isaac as well, because today you're also on the right? I asked you again, like, now, what are the advice, or before I asked about the advice, did you take any counseling?
Yes, I did.
Oh, bless you.
At times, if you're taking counseling, because your whole interest and your eagerness is to get married, you're not, most time you're not listening to what they're saying.
No, I'm not talking about marriage before. After the marriage.
After the
marriage.
Did you go for
after the marriage? They're paying from here, they're paying from there. You don't want to hear nobody counseling you.
That's true.
It's like you've made up your mind what you've been through. You want to stick, the woman don't want it, you don't want it. So what's the point? Who are you counseling for? What? That's your mindset. Then you don't want to hear nobody. All you want to do is go your separate ways, be happy, let her be happy. That's why we don't.
Come back to the question again. As the counseling, as yourself now, for things that won't play the same music to you, because I know someone that because they didn't take any counseling, they think, oh, I'm okay now, don't talk about issues, just bury them inside. The other girlfriend does anything and they just spark anything else.
The reason the reason being that at times in marriages and relationships, things will happen. People will come in there talk and you listen.
Like a traditional way.
Yeah,
you call the parents.
Pastors will come in, elderly people will come in. But once they've come in once, twice, and things are still not working,
they let go, don't they?
then you let go, they also let go. So if something was to okay again and it brings separation, who then are you going to for counseling?
I think it's up to
it's
the
happened
two of
once,
you.
twice,
Yeah.
you're not listening.
See,
You're not taking action again.
This is also good. It's good you mentioned that. Most of us, especially as men, right, we're suffering because we think it's only our mothers or our friends or anybody else that is going to counsel us. We have our doctors that we can go to for them to direct us to the people we can go for therapy and counseling. Especially men don't do it.
We don't do that.
Because we think we are okay with it. I don't want to go to another man to share my issues, another woman to share my issue. Meanwhile, there's a lot of things that is going on in your head, and you think you're okay for now on the surface. Right? Do you think it helps us as a men? Or if you have anybody else you know about this situation, especially now, I'm not going to say you know anybody now, but definitely you might look in your circle and see somebody who's not happy. What do you tell them?
From my experience, it would be lovely to share your experiences.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Who do you trust?
Who do you trust
Yeah.
to share your experiences? Unless like me and you that we've been through it. So sharing our experiences cannot be a problem. But especially you've been through it, I haven't. You're gonna share your experience with me. What experience therefore do I have to give you? So we need to find those that we're gonna talk to. If you do find the right thing, right people, then fine, it will work out. But finding them
So, back to the question again. You're still looking into friends and family.
Oh, you're talking about external.
External.
Going to the
Therapy and that.
right.
Yeah.
I've come from medical field, like I said. If I went to my doctors now, what the doctor is always going to do, because so many other things doing, what they're going to push you, they're going to push you into medication. Like they did for me.
Yeah.
They could have sat me down and say, you know what, why don't you go to the gym or increase your exercising in the gym and maybe slowly that will clear. They won't. If you haven't come from medical field like I did, at that time I've been taking the medicine. Before you know me, you probably won't be sitting on your program talking.
I know.
But it's not just the doctors.
I'm just making an example.
Because you can also go for a therapy as well. You can go to a counselor and you can go to a therapist.
But I think most
well.
of the time it's the doctors that refer, isn't it?
No, but if
they do the referral, don't they?
But you could go to them and ask as well. You could go to them and ask them you need a therapy or you need counseling. They can tell you where to go because you know what, they, as you said, right, they don't give you medicine. Well, sometimes all you need, right, is just to offload it. Mostly, I mean, I'm a therapist as well, but what we tend to let people do is just talk.
And honestly, I'm just going to come in there. Talk without judgmental, because some people judge.
No.
Some people do.
If you go to families, right, they'll judge.
Definitely.
Right? But if you go to somebody, like if you come to me for therapy, I mean, I would just hear. I know the kind of questions I'm going to ask you, and I'm not going to judge you. I just want you to open up and talk. And I did all that after I went through my issues. I mean, like yourself, right? I wasn't in a medical field before, but it got to a point that you have to educate yourself. What I've seen now, or what happened to me now, I don't say, I can't sit here and say I'm happy, but I can still say that there's a reason to why I'm alive now. So maybe God is using me or us, all of us, for us to educate people.
For a reason where you can also share experiences with somebody so they don't fall into the same
thing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just about going to the doctors. The doctors, all they want is, I mean, have you been to the GP? You go there, then the next
they just go off,
and then they
don't have the time.
The medicine they want you, they will just go online and they prescribe the medicine for you. Sometimes they don't even know. So mostly, I mean, therapy and counseling is one of the best things. And especially, black people don't take it.
We don't
I'm
tap
afraid.
into that.
Especially black men.
The 50 pounds, especially we who are from where we have
So
to.
I'll give you a personal
take care of back home.
experience. When I was almost finishing my course as a therapist, they give you some people to treat. Now they give you some numbers of people to treat, and it starts from 8, and then you do 21 people, you treat 21 people, and write the statement about them, and then the next one is 8, and the next 8 you will go back to them again, and then also treat them like in the next second time, so you will know the difference between first time and second time. So the 21 plus 16, do you know? I did not get any single black person, and that was for free. All the people I got was, sorry to say, people that are not of the same color like myself.
Why is that then, do you think?
Because one,
cultural
is culture is one, and then 2,
stigma.
Black people
Shame.
have issues. We don't talk about them. This is a thing
Can
that
I just come in here?
because
The reason why it's such, we lack unity
Mm-hmm.
in our black society.
In our
We lack
community.
unity. If you're united like we are here talking about it, like even if you invite somebody right now, they'll tell you
They
I'm going
can
to work.
come.
Yeah.
I have
Exactly.
work to go to.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to my sister and going through having that experience, I thought it's not about the money.
Exactly.
What I can come and say today on air is worth than the 100 or 200 pounds I'm
thank
going to
you
earn
very
today.
much, because
That's why I'm
it's
here.
going to change a lot of hearts.
Yes.
It's you're gonna somebody who knew you before and now will think, oh, so why am I burying mine? I can say it. When I see
you know,
Isaac, I can talk to
it's
him.
a healing
you
process.
could be
Yes.
saving someone's
Even
life.
you coming
Even it's
to-
a big relief as I'm talking.
That's
you
it.
could be
It's
saving
a
someone's
healing
life.
process.
It's-
That's what I'm saying.
It's big.
Yeah.
Just this morning when we were doing Bible studies, and I was saying that when we go through things, sometimes it's not for us, but it's for some people.
Yeah.
So if God brings something, He says there has no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But with every temptation, God will make a way of escape. So sometimes the God allows the devil to bring things in our way, and God is expecting us to overcome, so that we can be help to people. And I was saying that if now I should see somebody going through divorce, I will be the best person to advise the person, as long as it's not a matter of life and death. Because I've gone through 2 divorces, and it's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man.
It's not easy.
It's not a joke. So when somebody is contemplating it, they need somebody who has got the experience, and I would say has come out of a marriage, and you are counseling or speaking or advising that person.
You can use your personal experiences.
That's it. And even everything you are saying, you are confident in what you are
And
saying.
there's also emotion attached to
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
You see, so you feel for the person, and you are able to speak to the person for it to have an impact on the person than just something you have just read, and you just telling somebody, if you are going through divorce, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. But you say, I've
You
been
know
in
what?
it.
This is why your job is quite good, because
It's really amazing.
you have your personal experience concerning it.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of you just studied it without having a personal experience to it. So you know what? I hope and pray that your job takes you far.
Do you know what? Someone said something to me when I said to a friend of mine, watch Dimpers Lounge, and the person was asking me, so Dimpers' background. I said, well, he's done therapy, he's got marriage therapy experience. And the first thing the person said to me is, but he's a divorcee. Now, that's what is even better, because he's had the experience, personally gone through it, and he's also studied. So who better to advise you than...
Just combine it.
And I'm not saying he's going to get it right. I'm not saying he's going to get it right because he's human.
Yes.
But, he could bring something to the table. But I just want to bring some positivity in here, because I think we're all feeling a bit broody at the moment. The emotion is just running at the moment. I'm going to come to you, Dimpa. Now, you've met a wonderful, amazing woman, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Despite everything that you went through, your wife is the most precious person she's very close to my heart. She's my Ekoma, and she's so amazing. So what would you say, something positive to someone who's watching, that after the storm, would you say there's rainbow?
There's always rainbow. There's always rainbow. You will, especially now, I take my past experience to my current experience now. What I do mostly is to say sorry if I know I've done something wrong.
Whereas before you find it
Before
hard
I fight it because my women or my mothers here they will make me fight it. For us, this one is like, especially when she says something I'm not happy about, and I just go a bit high, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. This is why I did that. If you understand yourself, right, it's easier. And I'm saying this because I'm truly happy.
Oh, bless you.
She understands
That's
me.
amazing.
It's the same with you as you said. She understands me, even if sometimes I don't even have to open my mouth, and then when she knows that I'm a bit going too high, and then she will say something, and then when she says something, she plays jokes about, and then I laugh, and then later on I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry about this. Is why I did that, but it won't happen again. We're all human, as we said. We move on in life. But
do you think your past experience has now prepared you for something?
Oh, yes.
You now notice
Definitely.
Yes, because especially with this time now, everything is on the table.
Oh, bless you.
Everything is on the table. So if I'm not happy, I'm not going to wait for you to ask me. I'm not happy. I'm telling you, I'm not happy about this. That's it.
That's what.
Because we've come to terms that as I asked the question, most women don't know us because we don't tell them.
Yeah.
I'm not happy, but we pretend that we are happy. I'm not happy. I'll let you know I'm not happy about this. It's for you to work on that.
Yeah.
There's something someone said to me I think a few weeks ago, and then the man said to me, right, do you know your marriage ends the day you get the ring? I was like, no. And he goes to me, sit back and think about it. Your marriage ends when they hand you the marriage certificate. That's your divorce certificate for you. What happens next, a day after, is for you working your marriage. I sit back and I'm like, whoa, that is very true. And that is what we don't do.
You don't work it.
After we get the marriage certificate, the ring and everything else, we don't work it.
It's when reality sets in.
So the man said to me, do you know your marriage ends the same day?
The work begins.
The following day is when
the
work
can I ask
working
you on a personal experience?
Sure. Yeah.
Your current wife now,
has
she been through something similar that you have been through?
No. She not been through marriage, but in a relationship.
And I would say to the people watching, especially when somebody's been through such things, the next stage, they're very careful in things that they do and things that they say. But once you haven't been through it, trust me, you feel you're right all throughout.
Yeah.
What I've been through, what my ex-partner has been through, we've both been through similar things, if not the same. So how I approach her, how she approached me, we all approach with caution but with love attached to it.
Yeah, and I can add to that because the person I've met who's so amazing, I have to say that on live on air. Hello. He is so amazing in the sense that he's also been through what, if anything, worse. And we share the same interest. And I normally say to him that, why didn't I meet you 20 years ago? And he would say to me, well, why didn't I meet you 20 years ago? However, we had to go through what we went through to come together. And I'm so quick to say I'm so sorry if I did something wrong.
Do you have anything to add to this?
I'm still waiting for my record.
Well,
but I'm not. It's all good. That's all I say now. It's all good. Whatever it is, God says that whatever comes in our way, we should say thank you because He knows what He's doing. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm a happy woman. Very, very happy.
That is the that's the most important thing in life. If you're not happy within, nobody else can make you happy.
That's it.
Your happiness remains in your own heart, not with somebody else.
That's what I always say. You have to take care of number one.
But can I just add something to this? I had to really be very prayerful. When I went to the Lord, I said, Lord, Father God, give me that man, that my soulmate, that you have been, like, I don't know, you created for me. And I had to be so attentive and I had to wait. I was single for so long.
Thanks that you mentioned the word wait.
I had to wait.
Because we pray and something will come thinking, this is what God has answered me for. No.
Yeah, we because I couldn't go into my second one. I think that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
because the first one, when it ended, I knew this man back home long time ago. We were what we call childhood sweethearts.
Yeah.
And we separated for over 30 years. I didn't know where he was, he didn't know where I was. So just after my divorce, a cousin of mine went to Ghana and he met him, gave him my number. So we started chatting. Fortunately or fortunately, the wife has died about 2.5 years. So we started talking, and as they say, gently, dada and cheso. So he was in Ghana and I was here, talking about how do we know each other, how do we study each other. He was in Ghana and I was here. How was I going to
Get to
know him?
Exactly.
And how is he going to know me? But because his wife died, but mine was a divorce. So I made up my mind that anything I did, I knew that it was no good, that led to the divorce and things like that. I was going to make a change. But unfortunately for me, he didn't have that mindset.
Yes.
Because as you said, he has not gone through divorce.
Yes.
The wife just died. You see.
So obviously you can carry on from what
That's
he
it.
left over.
Even to the extent that when he came,
Mm-hmm.
he was. I just want to cut things short. Maybe another time I'll go in depth concerning second marriage.
Yes.
I will go in depth because what I wanted us to be like one, because I said I'm not going to, after this one, no more marriage.
No more. Yeah.
So I made up my mind I will put in everything
extra effort to make it work.
to make it work. Not knowing his mentality was different. And he came, I got a house and you add my name to it. So he came looking for things, but not for us to stay
The
as.
one.
He had 2 boys.
He had intentions.
I went to Ghana. I brought the children from Ghana.
Wow.
I did everything. If you come
Wow.
and me and the children in the house, you wouldn't know they are not
difference.
my
I can
biological
testify
children.
to that.
Wow.
You wouldn't know.
I can add to that in a sense that if you're a woman and I come in your life and you have kids already, if you don't allow me to be a father, forget it.
And I had children, and the way I blended these children together,
Wonderful.
when we are doing something and you come and see us, you wouldn't know.
No, whether they're
They are,
natural.
that's it. And
biological.
fortunately, my children were all older, so his one were the younger ones. You see, so I love those children. The
Mommy,
day,
God has blessed you.
the
You look
day
well. You really
the
think that you
man
will keep
left
that out.
left
Seriously.
me, I cried.
You will.
Relationship.
Not only for him, but for the children.
Kids, yeah.
Because the children has lost their mom.
No.
And when I met them at first, I said, don't force yourself to call me mom.
Just allow yourself.
Because you've got a mother, even though she's not around. But because of the way I was with the children, they just started calling me mom. And when they call me, it's so natural.
Oh. It's
So
devastating,
I
isn't it?
love those children so much. But the dad had a different this thing. So
Mentality, yeah.
he just, one day he just got to pack the things. He's already rented a place. And he just left me.
So
Wow.
on this,
So
Come back to the drawing board,
yes,
isn't it?
so it's not.
it's-
You said so. It's not just the men that not talking, but and most of us, especially for today, we wanna land it on the men and
Men
our
has to talk.
emotions. But to everyone, we've come to the end of today's program. I mean, I hope you get what we said. If you have any questions, you can send to myself, Lizzie, Mama Comfort, Isaac is here, or you could pop it to Dimple's Lounge. We're here to answer you. And also, if you need a therapy or if you need somewhere to go to, I mean, we're still going to be here. We're not going. This program is going to change when everyone out there change our mindset. Thank you very much for today's program. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
the-
Thank you for listening
Thank
to
you.
us.
Thank you. Awesome.
Wonderful.